Alright, we're getting into the video now. It is called Field Trip, SCP-2316. By the Bullgun.
By order of the Overseer Council, the following file describes a Keter-class anomalous cognito hazard and is level 42316 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden.
Item number 2316. Level 4, secret. Containment class, Keter. Disruption class, Kennic. And risk class, danger.
The following file contains images and text that are carriers for anomalous
Keter.
cognito-hazardous influences.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Due to this, it is imperative that all personnel accessing this file be certified as having a cognitive resistance value, CRV, of no less than 14.5. Should you fail an automated CRV verification, please remain calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Processor. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
Yippee!
Special containment procedures. Under no
doesn't matter where I am.
circumstances
I'm
are
gonna go back
Foundation
here.
personnel to approach SCP-2316. Observation of SCP-2316 must only be carried out by remote dummy probes utilizing video and audio recording equipment. Only those personnel adequately rated for exposure to cognitohazardous anomalies may review footage and audio of SCP-2316. The lake in which SCP-2316 is located has been quarantined and fenced off, and is to be routinely patrolled by individuals who have not been exposed to SCP-2316 and have no prior knowledge of its characteristics.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Individuals
I do
who
not
attempt to
recognize the
bypass
bodies
the
in the
enforced
water.
quarantine must be apprehended and moved to Site 33 for a full cognitive influence screening. Individuals who come within 50 meters of the lake containing SCP-2316 are to be considered lost.
Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Tonal variance processor. Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
I actually like that he put this in the video. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that it's like, oh, speak this into your microphone. I love that it made it into the video. There's no war in Ba Sing Se. Exactly.
Description: SCP-2316 is the designation for an anomalous phenomenon existing within County. SCP-2316 manifests as a group of human corpses floating in a small group at the surface of the water. The identities of these corpses are,
Cognito hazard removed. Automated change unknown.
though DNA
Cognito
testing
hazard
has been
removed?
inconclusive. While SCP-2316 appears to be individual instances, it is theorized that SCP-2316 may instead be an entity composed of a collective consciousness. Individual instances of SCP-2316 do not act on their own, but do seem to be able to act collectively as a single unit. The individual instances of SCP-2316 are unrecognizable.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
SCP-2316 hosts a powerful cognitohazardous effect, causing those who have viewed SCP-2316, are aware of certain parts of its nature, or who were enrolled in
Cognito hazard removed. Automated message invalid.
to believe that the individual instances of SCP-2316 are human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. Attempting to come into contact with
Wait, that's evil as fuck. Because from your childhood, the people you remember from your childhood still are usually people that are very dear to you. Or you've lost like a long time ago and you were very fond of at the time. I hardly remember anyone I didn't like from my childhood. I really basically remember most of the people I loved. Or still love. Hello, this is Editing Rain. I correct myself later in this video, but the SCP does not show you real people from your childhood. It fabricates a false memory. That's evil as fuck. I wonder why. Does it like feed on living humans? Because that would explain why. If it feeds on like living humans, it would explain why it pretends that there's like loved ones in the water, or at least people they recognize in the water. It does sound horrible to see your loved one's corpse floating in the lake. Exactly. That might be why they consider everybody within 50 meters of it lost, since it is a cognito hazard as well. I think it feeds on humans. Like, what if they're just dead people you don't know? I feel like it's specifically going into the fact that you're supposed to know these people, but they're not real. So, okay, imagine this. You encounter a lake, and you see a dead body floating in there, just any old dead body. Your first instinct would probably be to call the police, right? But what if it's somebody you know? What if it's like your childhood friend, and you see him floating in the water? You would go to them. I think that is the distinction they're making. Maybe it feeds on the acknowledgement of the bodies. Yeah, exactly. I'd probably still call the police. Always call the police. But the moment it's somebody you recognize, you start panicking, and you just tend to go towards them first. Because that is basically human. Our instinct is to stay away from dead bodies. But if it's somebody we recognize, we are more likely to go and check it out. I think that might be what they mean with you fail to recognize. You don't recognize the bodies in the water. I call the police even if they were swimming because no fun allowed. I am the fun police. You are not supposed to be having fun here, sir. Do I see swimming trunks over there? Is that a pool noodle? You think it's okay to have like a floaty in there? Turn around, take off your pants, let me spank that ass. No fun allowed. Straight to jail after spanking. I'm violent. Only feeds on humans. Yeah, I do believe that might be the thing. It might feed on like our brains or whatever. Like our cognitive abilities. Something like that. I wonder where it's going. Maybe with the recognition that someone you might know also trigger. Yeah, exactly. Precisely that. It might trigger some kind of emotional reaction from you to like get you closer to the lake.
Attempting to come into contact with SCP-2316 instances by way of entering lake or touching an instance of SCP-2316 will cause other instances of SCP-2316 to appear.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
The additional instances only serve to reinforce and add to the strength of the cognito hazard, compelling affected individuals into the lake. Individuals who enter the lake in this way are lost, and to date, none have been recovered.
So,
Addendum 2316 1. Interview.
Data expired.
okay, wait, but like, so they enter the lake, and they have not been recovered. So I'm gonna assume that I was correct in my first theory, and the lake feeds on them. The lake feeds on humans. And probably something with their brain as well, because otherwise they probably would not be able to create those corpses, because they're not hallucinations, they are physical manifestations of corpses. They're not just messing with your brain and pretending something is there. Back to the... Okay, there we go.
Please log in to ViewFi A0 less than verification PI user CC is within accepted. Let me show you their faces. Begin log.
Did you ever feel compelled to enter the water? Like something was pulling you in? What? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with them. They didn't drag me in. I saw them in the water and went in myself. I needed to see them. I wanted to hear what they were saying. They're my friends. When you entered the water, what did you see? Faces. My friends. Faces I recognized. Some I didn't, but they became more familiar as I saw them. I'd known them my whole life, but there was something wrong with them. Like the face of...
Oh, they're not people. They're not real people. They are not actually people that you recognize. It with your brain. It tricks you into thinking that you know them.
Someone you see in a dream, or you can't remember it right. There's something wrong, and the way they're speaking, No, that's impossible. They're simply not moving their mouths, but I could hear them, asking for help. They told me. They told me who they were. They told me you knew who they were. That you... Enough of that. You're clearly succumbing to the cognito hazard.
Oh, it really does fuck with your brain. You do not recognize the bodies in the lake is a true statement. It's true. You actually don't recognize the bodies in the lake because these are not real people that exist. You don't actually know them. And then it tells them that other people know them too. That's insane.
Need to get you medical attention, Agent. If you get your hands off me. I know all their names, Harrison. I heard them speaking to me. Every single one. All it takes is one person to see them and tell people, and they'll know what you've been trying to hide. Kirk Longwood High School. Get them out.
Wait, he's blaming him! He's blaming the doctor for it. So the SCP is telling him that there's somebody killing people that he knows? Apparently, and just tossing bodies into a lake? They knew about the doctor. It seems like permanent damage too, yeah, so that's why they're considered lost. That makes sense. Would the Foundation dump tons of people into a lake? I'm not saying they wouldn't. Not saying they wouldn't, but this is like, it fucks with your brain into thinking that you know these people, that you have known these people your entire life, and it blames someone else that you know. Because what do you mean? They're corpses and they speak to you.
And they'll know what you've been trying to hide. Kirk Longwood High School. Get them out of here, take them to amnestics, and turn that goddamn recorder off.
End log.
Okay, side note, the voice acting is so good. They did a fantastic job on this one. Does SCP have a connection to other SCPs? Probably. Weird that the corpses know about the head investigator though. I hope that we're gonna figure out why, because we're like halfway through the video.
Please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
CRV is not within acceptable limits. User CRV influenced by active cognito hazards. Please stay still. A member of your site's medical staff 4049 will be with you shortly. Terminal logging out.
We're dead. 07's cronies, we're dead. We're going to be neutralized. We're going to be neutralized. It's over.
Addendum 2316, 2.
Terminal low 532. You don't have a lot of time. You'll need to get away quickly. Go back to the lake. Go into the water. Look into their eyes. It's your friends, your classmates. You took the trip to the lake in the fall of 75 together when you were young. Don't you remember? Look into their eyes. I know you can hear them talking to you, just like they talk to me. Don't let them tell you it's just a cognito hazard. This is their fault.
They caused this.
We were all innocent kids, don't you remember? And you just got away, you and I. The rest of them are at the bottom of that lake, waiting for us to go back to them and be whole together again. They want us to know. They want us
To remember.
Wake up, goddammit. Remember the fall of 75, the year we were supposed to graduate. Don't
Let them make you forget.
They're calling to you. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them?
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Can you hear them?
The bite of 87!
Can you hear them? Can't you hear them? Can you hear them? Look into their eyes.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them?
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Hear them? Can you hear them? I know you can. Can you hear them? Can you hear them?
Recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not.
They're waiting for you.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Description.
What? Holy shit, this video is good. This video is done so well. My god.
SCP-1833 is a copy of the 1976 edition Kirk Longwood High School yearbook, previously belonging to student Carolyn Kirk. The yearbook shows mild wear and use indicative of its age. The front cover of SCP-1833 shows a 3-arrow design, with the words Reflections of 76 near the center of the page, and KLHS 1976 in the bottom right corner. The back of SCP-1833 is blank, save for a small amount of charring along the spine. An inscription inside the back cover reads, "We've had a great year, haven't we? Don't worry about waiting for the reunion. I'm sure we'll see each other soon enough. Lots of love. From all your best friends."
Verification complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits.
that's good. That was so... These SCPs are connected in that case. SCP-1833 is a yearbook. I'm gonna have to look that one up as well. I already had the page. Pull up. Me when I pull up. Alright, so I was just really wondering how this article is presenting itself, like how it's written. Because with 3999, it was very different from in the video, because, you know, it's really hard to just put into a video. This one was really, really well done, though. Adjusted tonal variance processor. Oh, cool. I like that it does that. Let's see, special containment. Because I also wanted to see the pictures, you know. DNA testing has been inconclusive. So there are actual corpses in that lake. There are real corpses in the lake. Oh wait, they have little side notes. They have little footnotes. Guessing the corpses are the actual victims in the SCP. No, I think they're not. I think the corpses are part of the SCP. Where's number 1? Oh, here. Due to the nature of SCP-2316, it's uncertain how... Thank you for the googly eyes. I can read better now because my eyes are bigger. This is true and real. Due to the nature of SCP-2316, it's uncertain how many individual corpses exist within the group. The number is currently estimated at 45! But has been estimated as high as 200 or more. Oh my god. So a group of human corpses, estimated at 45, but also as high as 200 or more. Okay, that's a party! They're having a straight-up party in that lake! Individual instances of SCP-2316 do not act on their own, but seem to be acting collectively as a single unit. I know who they are. I know their names, each and every one of them. Don't you? The individual instances of SCP-2316 are unrecognizable. Jeremiah Feynman, Arthur Scott, Denise Clark, Cognito hazard removed, automated message edit locked. Oh my god. Causing people who have viewed the SCP to believe that the individual instances of SCP-2316 are human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. They're lying. They know damn well who they are. The cognito hazard is real, but it's just their way of crying for help, of letting people know who they are, who they were. The additional instances only serve to reinforce and add to the strength of the cognito hazard. How can you not recognize the bodies in the water? Data expunged in the interview. They don't want to show you, but I will. Click below. I love the footnotes. This is why I wanted to read the article. This is so cool. Oh. Is it because I read the footnotes? Data expunged? Footnotes? I can't see the footnotes. Invalid entry. Okay, these are just the credits. Wait, is that it? I cannot see anything else? I can't see more? Hey there. Hi. Hello. It's editing rain again. This time I am not tired. It's a different day. I found it. I found a thing. You gotta highlight it. So let's explore it. You don't have a lot of time. You'll need to get away quickly. Go back to the lake. Go into the water. Look into their eyes. It's your friends, your classmates. You took the trip to the lake in the fall of 75 together when you were young. Don't you remember? Look into their eyes. I know you can hear them talking to you, just like they talk to me. Don't let them tell you it's just a cognito hazard. It was their fault. They caused this. We were all innocent kids. Don't you remember? And you just got away. You and I. The rest of them are at the bottom of the lake, waiting for us to go back to them and be whole together again. They want us to know. They want us to remember. Wake up, goddammit. Remember the fall of 75, the year you were supposed to graduate. Don't let them make you forget. They're calling to you. Can't you hear them? 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 Look into their eyes. Can't you hear them? 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 We didn't know what was in the lake. The Foundation didn't try and save us. They watched and let it happen. Nobody stopped them. You did not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. It goes on and on like this. But can't you hear them? I know you can. And you do not recognize the bodies in the water, just like the Vulcan ended his video. So technically we did cover this in the video. I just wasn't aware of it. They're waiting for you. Go back to the lake. And then we're directed to this. And once again, they have a very interesting way of formatting this. I recommend you read this for yourself. I will be linking it. I'm not going to read the entire thing in this video. I'll link it in the description in the video, so please do read it for yourself, because it is kind of cool. It is pretty cool. You had to click it, didn't you? I had to click it. I got locked out. Invalid entry. I wonder how they got the rest of the article, like the information. Because I don't know how to get through the interview part. Like, either he made it up and did really well on that, actually. Hi, editing rain again. You're never gonna believe this, but I found that too. You have to highlight it again. And it takes you to the interview. Now, I already clicked this, but here is a highlightable part. There's something wrong with them, which leads you into this page. Prelude, the first bell, where you can see what I think is a yearbook entry for pictures of students of the 70s, I'm assuming. And you can see that eventually their faces just get weird and distorted. And then after that, this is where the guy gets cut off by Dr. Harrison, and it leads you to SCP-1833. More on that later. 1833. It's a copy of the 1976 edition of a high school yearbook. Its appearance is consistent with other copies of the book and appears to have normal wear for the object of its age. The yearbook is entitled Reflections of 76. Its hardcover contains exactly 50 pages. Book is divided into 5 sections: a collection of student photographs, photographs from around the school year, club photos, photos from athletic events, and an autograph section. When SCP-1833 is read by any person who has graduated from high school, the object's anomalous effect will initiate. The individual, hereafter referred to as the subject, who reads SCP-1833 will perceive it as their own high school yearbook, containing messages left by persons with whom they associated socially during their high school years. Initially, these photographs and messages will be positive, with encouraging comments written in the book's margins, often mentioning events which provoke positive feelings in the subject. So it's kind of like similar to 2316, kind of, in a way, because it both messes with your head into, like, tricking you into knowing these people. After approximately 10 pages are read, the messages will begin to become more negative in tone. Initially, they will recount events that occurred during high school for which the subject feels embarrassment or remorse. They will then begin to mention events from the subject's life that occurred after completing high school and will make personal attacks on the subject. In addition, the photographs depicted in the book will become more negative, with the persons depicted in the photographs often appearing to be heavily deformed. After an intermediate number of pages have been read, ranging from 20 to 30 pages, photographs of the subject will begin to appear in the book. Initially, these photographs will depict embarrassing events that occurred during the subject's time in high school. However, as the subject progresses through the book, the photos become more disturbing, with photographs of the subject committing crimes, being mutilated, and being harmed by other persons depicted in SCP-1833, being the most commonly reported images. Oh my god. My average experience remembering high school? For you, it's just, like, accurate. Like, that's just real. That just happened. Page 3, beginning of the SCP's content. Several students, including the subject, are depicted in candid photographs taken during the school year. All persons depicted in the photographs appear smiling, and the subject is picturing socializing with a large group of attractive students. Attractive students? That's how I know it's wrong. That's how I know it's wrong. That's how I know that was not my class. That's how I know it was not my class. Page 10. The subject appears to be giving a presentation to a class. The topic of this presentation varies between subjects, but students observing appear engaged and interested. Page 16. The first instance of negative imagery. Subject appears to be spilling a lunch tray onto several other students. We don't have lunch trays. We don't have lunch trays in this country. You have to bring your own goddamn lunch. Page 20. Subject appears in a goalie uniform lying in the grass as the opposite team scores a goal. A marching band is visible in the background. Why is that highlighted? There's more! There is more! I'm not reading this one, though. I will read the description and that's it. The band is composed of 30 members, which are designated 1 to 30. All members of this SCP were formerly enrolled as seniors in the Kirk Lonwon High School. Oh, that is the same high school, right? And are expected to graduate spring 1976. So that is the same marching band. I wonder what is their effect. Activates according to the Kirk Lonwood High School home game football schedule. This entails an activation roughly at 7 p.m. local time 1 or 2 days a week. Oh, so they'll just march into the field and perform. So the marching band's visible in the background. basically immortal NPCs. Yeah, it kind of looks like immortal NPCs, but I'm sure Editing Rain is gonna figure that one out more. Subject appears in a music club photograph. However, the other club members have congregated to the far side of the photo and appear to be jeering and throwing things at the subject. What are you? Oh, pretty. It's a Euclid. Okay. There's a video from the Exploring series about, oh, interesting. I like how it just ties together. If I remember correctly, the class of 76 is something to do with people from a previous timelines bleeding into ours. Oh, it's an ornate mahogany enclosure housing an antique wax cylinder phonograph. Manufacturer's mark Syncope is etched on several of the phonograph's components. So that was also on the marching band's uniforms. Significant effects. When the cylinders are played, the sine wave tones produced are anomalously free of distortion. Even considering the nature of the cylinder groove, such tones are exact to a degree theoretically impossible. Humans exposed to the tones describe the subtle, pervasive feelings of harmony, correctness, and well-being. And then there's also probably a dissonant one. The cylinder must remain unharmed. Do not get a cylinder stuck in the cylinder. Okay, so it is a distorted one. Noticeable space-time distortions. Okay, gotcha. So that is also a thing. Page 39. The subject appears to be sleeping in its bedroom and is surrounded by other persons depicted in the yearbook. These persons have grossly mutilated facial features and are looking directly at the viewer. Huh, okay. I don't like that at all. I kind of hate that. Why would you break the fourth wall in a book? I do not know. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't. Back cover. Handwritten message saying we've had a great year, haven't we? Don't worry about waiting for the reunion. I'm sure we'll see each other soon enough. Lots of love from all of your best friends. And then this one. Links to the lake. I knew it would. I knew it would. I knew it would link to that lake. That is so interesting. I like this SCP. That was a cool one. Anyway, that was SCP-2316 and also SCP-1833. That was an excellent video. If you want to have a hand in which SCP I'm going to be covering next, join my Discord. I will be letting my Discord members decide, or at least come up with direct suggestions. So do still leave your suggestions in comments and do still keep suggesting them to me in streams and everything. I do appreciate them. I will write them all down. You do not recognize me in the water. 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 We're on the Matrix. Wake up! We're gonna evolve into crab people. I want to evolve into a hermit crab. Not a hermit crab. No, I want a horseshoe crab. I want to be a horseshoe crab. They're cool, guys. I love them. I love my horseshoe crabs. Not a true crab. Don't care. I love them. I love my horseshoe crabs. I'll just assume you're God and create our reality. Yeah, I'm God. I'm God. Let's go with that one. I am God. I have created all of you, which means you are my loyal subjects. You exist to worship me, because if you don't, I will bring misfortune upon these lands. We're going somewhere insane. We're going insane. Don't kill me without my permission. Big baby energy. If you want something meaningful, you need to look past their titties and into their heart. And I know the titties are in front of that, but you gotta try and look past. Just stare really, really, really hard, really deep into their heart. And you have to like penetrate your gaze through the titties. To really see her heart. And the same goes for men, especially with the big titties. Goes for men too. You gotta like stare really, really, really hard at the titties and just like X-ray vision with your eyes and look straight into his heart. Trust me, I speak from experience. Anyways, yeah, stare at titties. Look at titties. Life's too short to not look at titties, man. You just gotta stare really hard at titties. You gotta really just like stare straight through them, okay? Because how else are you going to ever see their heart? You just gotta look at the titties. Just explain. It's fine. They're my friends. Now you're lying to me. You watch Vtubers. You have friends? Who the fuck are you? The Pope? Show me your feet notes!